Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming. When it comes to leveling up the sorcerer, there are so many options. They have so many really cool abilities that it could be overwhelming for you guys, but don't worry, I'm here to help you out. And the leveling progression that we are going to be helping you guys out with is the Firewall Sorcerer. This is going to be using Fireball, Firewall, Hydra, and Inferno to just be lighting everything on, well, you guessed it, fire. This is a lot of AoE and just lots of stuff burning everywhere. It's a really cool build, it's really fun, and it carries you into late game extremely easily. So now that you understand the build, let's move into the skills, so level up your character with us. Now getting started, we have to get you some basic skills to be able to unlock everything else. So there's going to be levels 2 and 3. And the basic skill that we are going to be using here is Arc Lash. It has high AoE damage later on and does give you some movement speed. The only downside to it is melee range, but that does not really matter at early levels, so just bear with it. So at level 2, take Arc Lash, and level 3, take Enhanced Arc Lash. And at level 4, we can unlock your core skills, so you're going to be picking up Fireball. This is going to be able to give you something to do with your mana and give you a really big damage dealing ability. So at level 4, take Fireball, level 5, take Flickering Arc Lash, level 6, take Enhanced Fireball, and level 7, Greater Fireball. Moving forward though, we have to be adding in some defensive spells because you do want to have layers of protection when you're actually moving in through the campaign. In the early levels, stuff isn't that scary, but it can ramp up extremely quickly. So we're going to be picking up a bunch of different ways for you to have utility that are going to stay with you the entire way that you progress. And you're also going to be able to get the vulnerable debuff with these skills. So for level 8, take Teleport, level 9, take Ice Armor, level 10, take Frost Nova, level 11, take Enhanced Frost Nova, and level 12, Mystical Frost Nova. Now, quick side note here, some people might be wondering, why are we taking Frost Nova if this is a Firewall build? Well, because Frost Nova does allow you to get the vulnerable debuff, so it is very good and will be used later on in the end game, so it's just great to pick up here. But now let's jump forward and start to unlock Hydra and Firewall and get you guys burning stuff even more. This is going to be levels 13 through 24. So you're going to be picking up your main damage skills here. And your skill bar is going to be filling up, so take off Fireball and put on Firewall instead. And the way that you're going to be wanting to use these rotations is first placing down a Hydra, then cast Firewall 2 to 3 times, and then just move around to keep the mobs inside your Firewall while casting Arc Lash. And if you need to, you can always pop a defensive skill. And throughout this, you are going to be hitting level 15. So with that, you unlock your first enhancement slot. And for that, you're going to be taking Fireball. This just helps your ad clear, especially when the mobs don't want to sit in your Firewall because they don't like to burn. You know, they're kind of selfish like that, but you know, it does help. So for level 13, take Hydra. Level 14, Enhanced Hydra. Level 15 and 16 are also going to be going into Hydra. Level 17 is Enhanced Ice Armor. Level 18, Firewall, level 19, Enhanced Firewall, level 20, Mage's Firewall, and then levels 21, 22, 23, and 24 are all going into Firewall. You want that Firewall damage, so you want points into it. But now let's go forward and talk about getting your ultimate and also helping you deal with some of the mana hungry issues that you might be having. Now at this point, you are going to be getting your ultimate, which is going to be Inferno. And to use it, you are going to be having to take Frost Nova off of your hotbar. But a little bit later, you are going to be getting Supreme Inferno and Frost Nova can come back on instead of Arc Lash. But after that, your rotation becomes Hydra, Frost Nova, Firewall until no mana into Inferno, and then Firewall until they die. In most fights, the first 3 rotations will probably be enough to kill most of the mobs, but when fighting bosses, you will run out of mana and you are going to have to do a little bit more to kind of keep up the DPS. Now, there are aspects that you can use to help with the mana issues, and we are going to be covering that a little bit later in the aspects part of this, so do stay tuned for that. But for these levels, with level 25, you're going to be taking Inferno. With level 26, take Prime Inferno. Level 27, take Fireball. Then you're going to want to remove Flickering Arc Lash and add in Supreme Inferno. But now we can move into the next part, and it's just picking up a lot of key passive points. This is going to be levels 28 through 36. Now, unfortunately, when it does come to these passive points at the end of the tree, the only one that does help burning builds is called Combustion, and it is pretty weak, providing only a 4% damage bonus or 12% when Inferno is up. Instead, we are just going to be picking up some crazy AoE damage for Frost Nova with some of these passives, and there is going to be a new damage rotation. So first off, you're going to be dropping Hydra, then you're going to be proccing Inferno into Frost Nova into Firewall spam. This rotation is instantly able to kill elites and normal monsters, and for bosses it is better to stick with the old rotation to maximize the amount of firewalls that you can cast. But now let's talk about the skills you're going to be picking up. So at level 28, Fiery Surge, level 29, Endless Pyre, levels 30, 31, and 32 go into Warmth, levels 33, 34 into Hydra, level 35 into Shatter, and level 36 into Summoned Hydra. Now the Shatter passive that we do pick up there is what you're going to be using to AoE with Frost Nova. It's just really good. Even though it is a freeze thing, Frost Nova synergizes with that extremely well, so don't be scared. But now we can move into finalizing the build, and this is going to be levels 37 through 49 and talking about your renown as well. This is just rounding everything out. It's very simple, very straightforward. So at level 37, take Align the Elements. Level 38, 39, and 40, Protection. Level 41, Enhanced Teleport. Level 42, Shimmering Teleport. Level 43, 44, 45, and 46, take Frost Nova. Level 47, 48, and 49, take Glass Cannon. Now, if this is your first character, your renown is going to be unlocked throughout the entirety of the game, and you might not even be level 50 when these are being passed out. So if you unlock them while you are leveling, just put them into the skills we have mentioned before. But if this is your second character, or you've already put all the skills in and you want to know what to do with your renown, then you can start to put it into this stuff next. So for renown 1, take Inner Flame. Renown 2, 3, and 4, Crippling Flames. Renown 5 and 6, Inner Flames. Renown 7, 8, and 9, Mana Shield. And then renown 10, Endless Pyre. Now moving forward, we are going to be giving a little bit more insight on the enhancement slots because you do unlock them throughout this leveling process as well. Once you hit level 15, you automatically start the Legacy of the Magi priority quest, and you have to complete it to unlock your first enhancement slot, and then the second slot unlocks on its own when you reach level 30. And like we mentioned before, with the first slot, you are going to be enchanting Fireball. This really helps your Hydra by letting it quickly destroy huge masses of small monsters with chain reaction on kill explosions. And for your second slot, you are going to be enchanting Firewall. This directly buffs your main damage dealing skill by letting you put out more firewalls. This also helps with the Hydras and the Inferno because it all counts as burning damage and can proc the effect. Moving forward though, let's talk about your gear, and having a set goal with gear in mind in a leveling process is very hard. Typically, if you're getting more armor or more DPS, it's probably going to be an upgrade. But there are a few stats you are going to be looking for over time. Now for your armor, this is typically going to be granting defense and utility, except for your gloves, which is going to be the only offensive armor piece you have. So for your helmet, look for cooldown reduction and Hydra ranks. For your body armor, look for the highest armor you could get and also some flat damage. For your gloves, look for attack speed and damage over time. For your pants, just look for firewall ranks. And for your boots, look for mana cost reduction and movement speed. Now your jewelry does provide you a very nice powerful offense stat that can help on your leveling journey. So you are going to be looking for specific stat lines on these, and the higher level pieces are not always going to be upgrades. So for your amulet, take a look for mana cost reduction, movement speed, and cooldown reduction. And for your rings, look for close damage, damage over time, and damage versus crowd controlled. Now moving into your weapon, this is very straightforward. So you're just going to be looking for close damage, damage over time, and damage versus crowd controlled. And for your focus piece, this is going to be mana cost reduction and cooldown reduction. And along your leveling journey, if you do happen to find some stuff with sockets in them, here are the gems you're going to want to put in. For your weapon or focus, socket them with amethysts. For your armor, go with rubies, and for your jewelry, go with skulls. But now let's jump into the Codex of Power and get you guys some actual good aspects. And for leveling, there are a few aspects that can help significantly if you do have some funds to imprint them. So to start off with, the Prodigy's resource aspect. This can be found in the Witchwater dungeon in Huazar. With this imprint, you get using a cooldown restores 15 to 25 mana, and with a very mana hungry build like we have here, this is going to be extremely helpful. Now the next aspect is the defensive aspect of Disobedience. This is in the Halls of the Dam in Kyrgyzstan, and with this one, you gain 0.25 to 0.50% increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 25 to 50%. This is just a very good overall defensive piece and helps you survive a lot of different situations. And the last aspect is the offensive aspect of Control. This is in the Sunken Library in Kyrgyzstan. And with this one, you deal 25 to 30% more damage to immobilize, stunned, or frozen enemies. And with the massive AoE that our Frost Nova is going to be pumping out, a lot of your enemies are going to be frozen, so you can see exactly how this is going to synergize. Now a quick piece of warning here, do not imprint your weapons with any of the aspects. You always want to put offensive aspects on your amulet, rings, or gloves because your weapons are going to be swapped out very frequently. If you can, put them on jewelry because those are not going to be swapped as often. Now those are going to be the main ones for your build, and if you want, you can absolutely target them to get them a lot sooner. But there are a few other helpful legendary aspects that if you happen to stumble across them while you're leveling, definitely put them on. Now the first one is going to be the conceded offensive aspect. This makes it so you deal 15 to 25% increased damage while you have a barrier active. And this does boost your damage extremely nicely with ice armor active. And if you do happen to find this, then you can absolutely drop 1 point into the protection passive so you can activate the buff by using any of your other skills. Now the second aspect that we got to talk about here is the serpentine offensive aspect. This allows you to have one additional Hydra active, but Hydra's duration is reduced by 20 to 30%. Now this does provide you a decent boost to your single target damage, however it will lose a little bit of value past level 30 because you aren't going to be generating enough mana to spam Firewall with this. So this one is definitely up to you if you want to use it. Maybe try it on, see if you like it, but after level 30, if you don't like it, definitely drop it. Now the third one is a well-rolled defensive aspect of disobedience. We mentioned this one in the aspects before, but because dungeons always give you the lowest possible roll, finding a well-rolled one is definitely a good option. Because this build has so much damage over time, you're going to be proccing this extremely easy, so you're going to be able to gain so much armor and be very hard to kill throughout a lot of different scenarios. And the last one that we got to talk about is resource aspect of the Umbral. This makes it so you restore 1 to 4 of your primary resource when you crowd control an enemy. And again, with your Frost Nova going and also the Crippling Flames passive, you can have a ton of mana coming back to you very easily. Now this build is going to be doing a ton of massive AoE damage. It's going to be immobilizing a lot of people. It's going to give you a ton of armor once you find the right aspects. It's going to be just a very solid leveling experience for you overall. But if you have any comments about leveling this, drop them in the comments below. And if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest greatest Diablo 4 tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.